All right, here we go. We are back. This is the matchup between the 2 seed in the Harden region, Joel Embiid, against the 10 seed, Bam Adebayo. This region's super interesting because we have Harden and Steph up top in the round of 32, and then we have Embiid and the Nicolas down low. So we're sort of setting up to have an awesome guard, against a really awesome big man down below in a battle for who's going to go to the Final Four. Super interesting. This is a really fascinating game between Bam, who looked great in the first round, against Embiid, who, just looks to be set up so well in this one-on-one tournament, given his defense and quickness and ability just to punish people down low. We'll see if he's able to punish Bam, who is a good defender in his own right, just may not have the heft. But Matt, where are you at on this one?
I think it's tough just because Bam, Bam's really skilled. Bam's got really good handle, and he's got counters for him. We'll see if he can get to any of those. He's also really good defensively. You saw that block on the first possession, and he went inside.
Yeah.
And so I think this is probably going to be a grind. I think this is going to be a pretty ugly game because of how good both players are defensively and their athleticism and size.
So where were you at on the spread and over-under here, Matt? It was so we listed it as Embiid -3.5, and the over-under was 17.5.
I took Bam on the cover. I put Bam against the spread, and I took
Plus
Embiid.
3.5. And then Embiid to win.
Embiid.
Gotcha.
So the cover,
Move right there.
I got right here. It's 3.5. Yeah. Like if it was 2.5, I might take Embiid, but 3.5, I'll go ahead and I'll grab the points on Bam.
Yeah. Bam looked good in that first round. That's for sure.
That's an 11-7, and I have more faith that Bam. I think Bam can get to 8 points.
Yeah. That's the question. Embiid, so good defensively. That's the question is how many people are going to be able to put up that many points on him.
Right. Well, I'm not feeling good about it. Bam's going to take the kind of shots that he has so far in this thing. He's thrown up some absolutely just chuck garbage junk shots so far. 2 of them.
Yeah, he hasn't been able to really get around Embiid.
Right.
And Embiid's been able to sort of back him down and just.
I really want this to be an actual playoff series. I would love to see Bam. There you go. I'd love to see Bam versus Embiid for 7 games. I think it'd be fascinating.
Yeah, I think so too. We've seen Embiid, in this setting, he's going to, do well against a little bit of a smaller big. But in real life, we've seen, smaller bigs be able to do just fine on him. The main example is the Embiid killer in his career has been Al Horford.
Yeah.
Before they played together. But
and Aaron Baines. Aaron Baines is another guy that, even though he's bigger, but Baines is a lot of it's just it's not about size, it's about strength. If you don't let him bully, if he can't bully you, he's not a good enough shooter to really punish him.
Mm-hmm. And Horford's just so smart, was able to get into his head with just some, little things here and there. This would be a fascinating matchup. Philly against Miami.
It'd be so good. It'd be so good. Spoelstra's going to send help at him, and you have the Jimmy Butler connection with him and Embiid, and the intimidation factor there. And I think Spoelstra versus Brett Brown is a real advantage for Spoelstra, and the shooting that they have. Nice move to get the foul. The shooting that the Heat bring to the table, and versus the Sixers offense, which is so pedestrian. I wrote a thing yesterday talking about Ben Simmons, about how I still want them to use him as a screener more. Embiid just reaches over and
Simmons? You want Simmons as a screener?
Yeah, they just use Embiid as a screener more. It's really effective, and they just never use it enough. For me, I think the peak for Simmons is going to be if he eventually plays with a dominant ball handling scorer and is playing the Scottie Pippen role and sets a lot of screens. That's a dominant combination because of his skill set. Get him the ball off the roll and let him work.
That was the plan with Markelle.
It's tough because I don't think that Embiid. I don't think nice recovery ball. Embiid's knees, by the way, have obliterated from all these athletic moves that he's pulled off by now. His knees would just have detonated into a million pieces from.
But that was the hope that Markelle was going to be
another block.
can't even remember like what his initial comp was, like Brandon Roy-ish, you know. If you have that type of player who, you know, can be the tip of the sphere, and then you have Simmons be the Pippen, and then Embiid just be a force, you know. I mean, that's
so. There's been some questions about should they trade Embiid or Simmons, and to me it's tough because I like Simmons more as a player because of his mental engagement. Like Simmons is always plugged in and he always comes to play. The problem is, I've said this: if you trade Embiid, you're basically turning your team into a B-grade Milwaukee Bucks, and you already have the Bucks in your conference. See, Embiid just needs to do that every time. Get the post up, get him frozen, loft it up there, and then get the rebound and put it back. You should be able to take care of this.
Yeah, I just like when people talk about that, I'm always like, okay, well, I mean, what are you trading him for? Like, give me literally anything realistic. And they're like, okay, it's hard to find a player to do a 1-for-1. Okay, so then maybe you're trading a 2-for-1. That hardly ever works out when you're talking about a stars. Or you could trade for a draft pick, but Embiid and Simmons are approaching their primes. They're, you know, what how old are they? 25-ish?
Yeah.
Yeah. And, you know, primes are generally about 26 to 29, I would say, in general for a player. So I just like, what are you going to do? I just don't see any sort of trade that would potentially work out for them, honestly. This is like, I think this is their team.
Yeah, I think it's tough. I think that there are like maybe some options, like, you know, depending on what you want to do. I think a lot of it is they won't ever go to a position of trading for a player that's better than Simmons, and that's kind of the problem. Is like Simmons needs to be not the best guy on the team and be blocking everything.
They just need, like, they're really prioritizing, like, they're spending money on positions that like Simmons and Embiid already played, like Tobias Harris, like,
yeah,
but also like Horford and all these guys. Like, Simmons can play your 4. You know, he could be a Luka Doncic.
Yeah, I mean, I get. Look, a lot of it with Horford is just it provided insurance because Embiid just doesn't play 70 games. It doesn't happen, right? So having a backup and then having him not on an Eastern Conference opponent is a big deal. Like,
see,
literally,
I get that point, but also the point about the insurance, I think, is just like people who really believe that. I think it's silly. Like, if Horford's going down, or if Embiid's going down, you're not winning the title anyway. Why do you need?
No, I know that. I'm not talking about insurance for that. I'm just saying, like, saving him during the season. It makes it easier because, like, for a long time, like, they really were rough whenever Embiid would sit. And well, theoretically,
why do you need to save him during the season with a $25 million player? Like, get any player.
Well, I mean, a lot of it's like, look, a lot of it's that the idea, I think, was solid because Horford's able to do so much and he's comfortable playing before. By the way, Embiid's covering right now.
Yeah, but the player, the player they need is like Kyle Lowry, not Al Horford.
Well, I think they need both. I think they need Kyle Lowry.
But if I was prioritizing, I'd like Kyle Lowry is really good on that team. Yeah, and like is exactly what they need. Horford's like a luxury.
But I think a lot of it is like there weren't dominant guards on the market last summer, so like they made the upgrades that they could find, and like a lot of it's that Horford has just been a really bad fit for the first time in his career. He's never been a bad fit anywhere, and this is the one team where he's a bad fit. And like I think Horford's, you know, people are just like, well, no, he's just washed. I'm like, no, I think probably he goes to his next team, and people are like, oh yeah, Horford's really good.
Yeah.
I just think honestly, look, I'll say this: I think a lot of it's tough to be a fit with both those guys. Like that may be the thing, right? It's like you can say like, well, they're so talented, or you can't be better, or whatever. It's hard to fit with both Simmons and Embiid because of what their specific weaknesses and how they play on.
Yeah, like what is actually a good point guard? Like I think Lowry is fine.
Lowry's good.
It's like Brogdon was available this year. Would he have been a good fit? Brogdon's like the new school George Hill. So I think it's Brogdon.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe not.
9-4 here, by the way.
But there's also like personality stuff in the middle of that as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So and Bam's not covering. He's at 9-4, and there's no way he's going to score 4 more points. He's not
I feel like you and I are really itching to get some NBA back. I like when Wob and Justin, they're like tuned into the game, which is we probably should be more tuned into the game. But
that's fine. I think the conversation's good. I'm not Jeff Van Gundy. I'm not sitting here complaining about the rules.
No. I'm just like I miss the NBA, man.
I do. I keep thinking it's hitting me more and more.
I don't know.
We were talking about like how much we wanted the Sixers Heat matchup.
Mhm.
I would settle for Nets Magic. I would take that gladly and dive in. All right, Embiid game point here.
Give me Hornets Kings.
Get him in.
Oh, not able to
Embiid
get
takes
it.
so many mid-range shots. That was something that shocked me when I was doing the analysis. Was like he takes so many mid-range shots, and he's really not good at it. Embiid does a lot of stuff that he's not good at.
Yeah, he does. But he does that in real life too.
Yep, just too much defense, man. Oof. Yeah, not seeing 3 more points out of Bam here.
I'm not saying. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I think.
Embiid versus whoever he faces out of the when he goes.
It's gonna be interesting. Yeah. For sure.
Versus Nikola. But Embiid versus Nikola is gonna be great.
All right, Embiid. We can put Bam out of his misery here.
Finish him.
There
Done.
it is. Dang.
The big guy advances. JoJo goes on.
JoJo goes on. Wins 11-6.
Only 16 blocks.
16
so,
blocks. Yeah.
Pretty normal game.
Solid.
Solid.